Right, let's look at number 7. So you're looking for a set of parentheses. In this case, we have a parentheses in the numerator, 1 plus root x. And so that integral becomes u to the third power over the square root of x times the dx. Right. A mix of u's and x's. So let's start by solving for dx and see if that fixes our issue. Right, so this is x to the 1/2 power. So 1/2 x to the negative 1/2 power. Right. So that's du over dx equals 1 over 2x. And so if you cross multiply, right, remember that this is your derivative column. If you cross multiply, you end up with 2 root x du is equal to dx. So now we're going to substitute this in right here. So you get u to the third over root x times 2 root x du. Right. So in this case, the root x's are going to cancel each other. Right. These questions are created specifically so that if you pick the correct u, it kind of becomes your key. It unlocks the rest of the problem. Everything just cleans off if you pick the right substitution. Right, so you can pull the 2 out front. Do your power rule. And then you plug the u back in. So 2 over 4 is 1/2. Plug the u sub 1 plus root x back into the u, right? So the u thing was a temporary substitution just to clean up our work, make sure at the end to undo it. Right, and then again, if you have time, check your work. Right, so this is a power rule. So 1/2 times 4, leave the inside alone, increase the power by 1 times the derivative of the inside. Well, I just did this, right? So it's 1 over 2 root x. Right, so looking at coefficients, this 4 cancels with these 2 in the denominator. You end up with this for the numerator, which matches that. And then this goes in the denominator, which matches that. So my work checks out, meaning that this is the correct answer right there. All right, let's look at number 8. So again, you're looking for a u inside of a parentheses. There's a parentheses right there, so let's try that. All right, so remember this is your derivative column, your integral column. Right. du over dx would be 4/3 x to the 1/3. All right, so let's treat this as if it is a fraction. So let's put the 4 like this. Right, so that way my cross multiplication is clean. You get 3 du equals 4x to the 1/3 dx. Right, try not to mess up your cross multiplication and your substitution so that when you plug back in right here, it's not so messy. Right, take your time with your steps. Right, I did 2 steps here. I cross multiplied to get this, and then divided this to the other side. Right, so now I'm going to plug this in. 3 du or x to the 1/3 x to the 1/3. And like I said with the last question, when you select the correct u and you do the plug-in for the dx, a lot of things start to cancel. Right, so you're going to end up with a 3/4. I'm going to go ahead and pull that out as my quotient. Sine of u du. Right, so now again, now that we have just one variable, we had one variable right here, we had one variable at the very beginning, which is not really easy to integrate. everywhere in between we had a mix of x's and u's. So until you have just one variable, you cannot integrate. All right. 3/4, the antiderivative of the sine of u is a negative cosine of u. All right, so I'm going to pull that negative out front and then plug the u back in. All right, so now let's check our work. All right, the derivative of cosine is a negative sine. Leave the inside alone. Times the derivative of the inside, so 4/3 x to the 1/3. And the derivative constant is 0. And let me just talk through that one more time. Negative 3/4 is a coefficient rule. The derivative of cosine is negative sine. You leave the inside alone times the derivative of the inside. And when we start cleaning this up, this negative cancels with this negative. 3/4 and 4/3 cancels each other, leaving you with just what's in the question. X to the 1/3 sine of x to the 4/3 minus 8. Right, so my derivative of my answer matches the original integrand. So I know that this answer is correct. All right, let's look at number 9. All right, so you do a quick scan again. We have this as my inner function. Secant squared of something, the tangent's derivative is secant squared, so that's a good indication. Right, so we have this as my u. Take the derivative, 27x squared, and then you cross multiply u equals 27x squared dx. And then you divide the 27x squared. To get your dx. So this plugs in. For the dx, this part right here. Right. So cleaning up, x squared cancels off. 6/27 you can pull out. Well, let me just leave it alone. Right, so 6/27 I can pull out and then clean up. This is a 2/9. Right, if you divide the numerator by 3, the number by 3. Okay, so I mentioned earlier that the derivative of tangent of theta is secant squared of theta. So if you take the integral of secant squared of u, you would get tangent of u. Right, don't forget to plug your u back in. X cubed plus 4 plus a c, right? So this would be my answer. And then we can check our work. Right, so the derivative tangent of something is secant squared of something, and then there's a chain rule right there. And then so if we look at the numeric components, 27 divided by 9 is 3. 3 times 2 is equal to 6. So there's that part. We've got this x squared matching that x squared. And then finally, we have the secant squared component. So it does check off, giving me my final answer here.